Hello, I'm Master Gothrin, and welcome back to Let's Play Eternal Daughter. It's been a little while, but I'm pretty sure this happened last time. The ever-watchful Faust saved Mia from the top of the tower. She doesn't even say thanks. And the Dungaga are here. So, that's interesting. We have been chosen as the champion of the gods in the fight to prevent the dark god Baphomet from devouring the world. And I guess that Hesiod is just going to keep kneeling there for some time. Looks like it. Sadly, our vanquishing of the three riders, otherwise known as the Sons of Baphomet, didn't come about quite in time to preempt the situation. As a result, we must now quest to see the other 5 gods of the world, and gain their boons. Some of them are familiar, some not. The Order actually gives some pretty good information on where to find each god, but you can't get that information again, so you can actually kinda get stuck if you forget the hints on where to go. Eluriel presumably will be found in his temple in the Lorien village. Jormund, the god of wind, can be found somewhere around the peaks of Blue Mountain. The earth god, Chalzar, will be found deep underground with the Grodol. There's Zod, the god of machines, whom we will find with the Dungaga, and finally, there's Altius, the god of water, and he's kind of the odd one out in that he doesn't have a great race associated with him. However, there's a little bit of sideline exploring to be had. First of all, there's the prisoner of the Tower's fate to be discovered. Badly injured and trapped in a tower that just exploded, it's unclear how he might have escaped. I like to imagine that maybe Faust helped the guy out in between bouts of saving our ass, and that he just neglected to mention it. Apparently, he lives in this cave now. These guys were hidden in one of the few areas that you can't return to, so you can understand why they can't really offer you anything too awesome. But a full refill of our magic power is actually pretty helpful right now. That's because our new weapon, the Mojang, is going to become our new tool to explore. When you throw it into a wall, it sticks in and acts as a platform. If you ever played or watched Quackshot, it's just like the red plungers, and you can use it to move up walls. With a quick edited out trip to see Zoraf and Mana to refill our ammo, we can now explore up here. And another epic beard. We now have a little floating blue friend to accompany us, otherwise known as the Familiar. In the background you can see the other items that Geddy was talking about, including the doll which is, I'm told, Alucard from Castlevania, one of the games that inspired the developers. Right now our Familiar can collect power-ups for us as well as occasionally breathe fire on our foes. In addition, he's quite interested in eating the miscellaneous food items that litter the maps. As he eats more and more of them, he'll become larger and more powerful. Which food items are present each time you enter an area is determined randomly, and they can reappear if you leave and come back, rather than you having to collect them like unique upgrades. I'm probably going to subtly off-screen some fruit harvesting, since without a little aimlessness, it's unlikely he'll grow up in time for the end of the game. If you didn't find Zoraf in the tower, a handy alternative for refilling your magic power is to jump in and out of this cave. Your Familiar can fly down and grab the 2 static power-ups in fairly short order, and you can repeat it as much as you like. Now, with that all said and done, it's time to try and find some gods. The largest body of water that isn't in any region associated with any of the races is actually in this cave, and around the green plant mouth there was a save point and a sheer vertical wall which we've yet to ascend, so that seemed like a good place to start. This is actually the only point in the game where the plot gives way to non-linearity. You can find most of the gods in any order, and I'm going to be seeking them out in the order that makes the whole affair easiest and has the least amount of backtracking. When we were here before, I mentioned maybe if we could jump higher we would be able to get up, but you can just narrowly not get up here without the Mojang. Instead of walking into a vast water-themed dungeon though, we've strolled into a boss fight with a giant enemy crab. He has one disproportionately large pincer which he periodically lunges down at you, and in addition he shoots bubbles at you as well. The bubbles are only directly dangerous if they run into you from the side or from above. While relatively simple, it's very easy to get hit again and again due to the sporadic movement of the main body. You can get trapped in the corner, hit by a bubble from nowhere, and be attacking from the side and just get smacked when he starts moving sideways, etc. Fortunately, since the start of the Free Riders Tower, the difficulty of the game has mellowed somewhat, with us again only getting hit for 3 damage per screw up. A mild application of magic hammers can help, so they can catch onto the bubbles as they come down and waste a hammer. You can also use the Mojang as a weapon, but I tend to forget to do this since the hammer is more convenient most of the time. It uses the same amount of power as the hammer, but I don't know if it does more or less damage. Either way, simply pile the hits into his claw and it'll eventually explode and fall off. Once it does, the boss's main body becomes vulnerable and he steps up his bubble attack rate. An interesting feature of the bubbles is that, while they're dangerous from most angles, if you jump on top of them you bounce up into the air without them dealing any damage. Of course, this usually bounces you up into part of a giant crab, so it's not without risk. Either way, with Crabulon here defeated, we can progress into the next room. And here we found Altius, who will give us the gift of underwater breathing. And well, that's kind of it for the water temple. There's nowhere else to go here, but now at least we can explore the nearby lake, as well as obtain those elusive treasures from the other pools that have tempted us so sorely, which should make getting to the other gods a much more pleasant experience. Anyway, that's it for this rather cutscene heavy episode. Next time we'll grab some more upgrades and go after Zod, the god of the machines. In the meantime though, I said in episode 2 that Dokra was the key to an important glitch, and that's related to the familiar. All you need to do is ride his head up and off the screen and well, there you go. Only the very border tiles are marked as collidable, so if you can get past them, you can run around freely in the areas slightly outside, and get up to Crazy Geddy's shop before you even set foot in Blue Mountain. Having the familiar so early helps make difficult boss fights like Hume a ton easier. An interesting tidbit is that if you use the rapid fire button to skip Crazy Geddy's dialogue here, the familiar never actually hatches properly and you break the game forever. As a counterpoint, if you use the escape key to skip the scene with Mana and Zorath, a variable doesn't get set right and they vanish forever, never to refill your ammo again.